I'll tell you what. Do you have a few minutes for some questions?
Always, Tony. How can I help you? What you got in mind?
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. All right. So first of all, some of the basic questions are, why should we use your tenant screening and credit enhancement exit strategy for our tenant buyers? Like, can you give us like the overview? How is it different from using any other tenant screening service or tenant repair company like Lexington Law?
Yeah, many of these things we had covered, and those were basically that we're designed for this industry, Tony. We're not just a retrofit. You're not trying to back end some sort of credit repair service that does things one at a time. And what you're doing is you're down to the grassroots of the transaction itself. You're working with somebody who understands this industry and what you're looking to have accomplished, from the screening perspective all the way through the credit repair from cradle to grave. It's a one-stop solution designed for this industry.
Nice. Okay. Appreciate that. So when should we have our tenant buyers fill out the application, before or after they've seen one of our houses?
Excellent question. And sometimes people do it before, sometimes they do it after, but most times it's after they have seen the house. Now, they don't necessarily have to have physically seen the house. They could have seen it online in the form of pictures. But most people have either a hand money deposit or some sort of like freeze fund. Here's a good faith deposit, $500 just to freeze the house so you don't market it to anybody else. That's when they would have them come on and do the screening service with us. So there has to be a level of interest, Tony, more than just the, hey, I saw you or saw you on Craigslist, or I saw an ad. That doesn't work too well with what we're doing here, because then we're having to sell the whole transaction, and we want them to at least be maybe not gaffed and in the boat, but we've landed the hook.
Yeah. And I tell you what I like to do. I like to have my people go to see the house, fall in love with it, and are begging to do whatever it takes next. And also I like to have a conversation with someone to see where they're at and make sure that they're going to be a good fit, and I like where they're coming from. Of course, the bigger the pool of people you have, the better it's going to be, because then you have that social proof, and you have enough people who are showing that they're interested in the place. So me personally, I like to have them go see the house before they start that application, as well as put down a show of good faith deposit, $100, $500, $1,000, and get that application receipt agreement filled out. And then this is the natural progression next step. So that's what I like to do. So, all right, let me ask, what if we already have a tenant buyer who's living in the house? What should we do then?
Yeah, then you're going to just send them to the free evaluation. Again, I always like to have you as a real estate investor ask permission. This is so key. Ask them permission. Can I have this guy give you a call and provide you a free analysis or consultation? I've set it up already. In other words, now you got this feather in your cap that you were able to talk to the owner of the company, and he's going to call you up and he's going to give you something of value for free. So it's a very important phone call. When would you be available for that call? What number should I have them call you at? So if you do it that way, they're going to get a call 100% of the time. If you say, hey, Joe, I know you've been in my house for 2 years and you want to cash it out, here's a guy's phone number. It's very rare, Tony, when I get a call. Believe it or not, it's about 20% of the time that someone actually reaches out to us. So you want to complete that cycle in a professional manner.
So you're saying, so stop the presses here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, what Paul just dropped on you is a golden nugget. And I want to make sure that I bring it up and polish it off for you so that you can really take this. So what Paul is saying here is basically, if you just leave it to chance and say, hey, call this guy and we'll fix your credit. I mean, come on, that's the weakest crap in the world that you can do. You got to solidify, nail down what's going to happen, and set an appointment and confirm what number to call from and what exactly is going to happen, and set an appointment and confirm that it's good. So, Paul, that was really strong what you just said, and I just want to bring that up to our listeners here to make sure that that is acted upon properly. We want to have the strongest.
Tony, it's really easy to do when you're offering something of value. The credit repair in itself is value, but the discounts that you have arranged to have the $79 analysis fee waived So you're going to be able to find out for free from a professional what they can do for you. That is now it's not like you're trying to pitch something to them. You're offering them something.
Yeah, that's very true. That's a good point right there too. So we're offering something of value that they're going to love and appreciate, and then we're just setting an appointment for them to get it.
Exactly.
Nice. Okay, so let's continue here. Another question I have is, so who fills out this application, the tenant buyer or me as the investor, and what information is going to be needed on that?
Either one can fill it out. Whoever fills it out is going to pay. The information that's most critical is that they know the purchase price or an approximation within a given percentage, usually within 5% of the purchase price of property. Again, it could all be negotiated after I get my application, but your name, which is the real estate investor's name, email address, and phone number. Because remember, Tony, we need to know where to send the report. Now, most times you'll already be on file with us, and if they remember one of the three, great, we end up getting the report to you. But if, let's say, for example, they misspell your email address, mistype it in, then we still can find you with using the other two. But here's a bonus. If they do put the email address in correctly, guess what happens? At the instant they hit the submit button, you get a copy of the application. And you also get a brief questionnaire that says, how would you like us to handle this application? This is really cool, too. This is a new thing we just developed within the last week. How would you like us to handle the application? Is there a due date that this application has to be back to you by? Say, for example, you have had over the weekend you did an open house and you want to make a decision by Tuesday at 5 o'clock. And so that you're going to put that the due date of all the applicants to be that time, and you will get your report back on or before that time. Now, if they haven't given us all the information up to that stage, for example, they haven't given us their pay stubs, then we're going to use stated income, and they have to give us pay stubs later on. We'll give you what we got at that time. So the system accommodates the way you're doing business.
That's fantastic. That is really good. So you can customize it, and oh man, that's really good. That's really good. Okay. So what documentation? You just covered basically that. You answered my next question here. What documentation will the real estate investor receive when the application is complete? So. Oh,
it's really extensive. I had John Ionati tell me one time, Paul, you gave me 80-page response, Well, it's because this guy had a lot of things on his background in a long credit report. But yeah, it's the credit report, the criminal background magazine report, the disclosure forms, which most people don't remember those things, the affordability analysis, and the form that basically says they're going to engage in the credit repair and they're going to follow all the way through, and then the action plan. So there's a lot of really cool stuff there.
Okay, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So, does this protect us from a lawsuit?
Well, I don't like to say that. I mean that we're Dodd-Frank compliant. We're there to in the event that something were to happen. I would put my credentials up against anyone's in this industry. That credentials as far as being understanding underwriting guidelines and credit guidelines, which is in the spirit of Dodd-Frank. That's what it's all written about, is that you set someone up for failure because either they couldn't afford the house or their credit was so bad and you had no plan to get them in a place to be mortgage ready. So it would be insurance more or less against something like that. You still could get sued. But if you had my testimonial or deposition to go into court, as well as their signature on these documents prior to the time that they even enrolled or prior to the time they even got into the house, I think just about any judge in the land would find that you've done your due diligence.
Right, and that's what they would be looking for. Yeah. Okay. So, are there any other advantages to having them apply with you online? And what if I don't? What if I don't give them the house? What if they don't qualify for this house? So I find someone else that I want to work with because maybe they have a higher down payment that they can use. What other advantages would someone have for applying with you?
Yeah, expediency for applying online versus doing it another way. But here's the cool thing. Let's just say you don't give them the house. And by the way, whenever we're telling them, they're saying, so does this mean, they ask us, does this mean I get the house because I'm signing up for credit repair and I've done the screening? No, it does not mean that, Mr. Tenant Buyer, but I'm going to encourage you, if you don't get the house, that you stay engaged in my service, because next week, next month, 2 months from now, this same person may have a house that fits your needs. The down payment may be incorrect. The number of bedrooms of baths may be incorrect for either you or he. The monthly payment, maybe it's out of your range. I don't know. But if you can't come to terms on it, there can be another house. Well, guess what? Now, even if you don't give them the house, maybe let's say you get 2 or 3 applications, Tony. What are you going to do with the other ones that you don't give the house to? Now you have a buyer's list that you've now developing that you can go out and get another house. And it's so much easier to get another house under contract when you can say, hey, listen, I already have somebody that is in credit repair and been working with us here for a while to get a house. I know they want 2 bedrooms, 3 baths in this area, and that's what your house is. So it makes getting the next house so much easier.
Okay. Very good. Very good. That's a good explanation. So let's say that we get someone and we put them into your program. We do put them into our house, and then we also put them in your program. Is there a way that we could actually track their progress as their credit is being worked on and improved?
Yes, you'll be given access as the day that they are put into our system. You'll be given a private portal that you can go and look. And not only will you be able to see that tenant buyer's progress, but everybody who has signed up for credit repair with us, you'll be able to track their results online, real time, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, as will they. So you'll be able to see down to the detail as to which item's been removed and which item remains, when the last letters went out, when the next set of results are due in. So it's very detailed. And then, as always, you'll have access to our team here so that you can also get other information as needed.
Awesome. That's a really good service to have. Nice. Okay. So tell me more about this action plan the tenant buyer receives to help them become mortgage ready.
The action plan is inclusive of some of the things we went over earlier, like the summary items. Must stay in the credit repair program, must pay rent by check. I always like that one. Must do the student loan consolidation and so on. All the things that they must do, all the things they shouldn't do. No new collections, charge-offs, judgments, no new this or that stuff. Pay your bills on time type thing. So the action plan is all those, as well as budgeting and establishing new credit. So it's all 100% of what everything that is used to compute our credit score. The world of FICO is not for the common person to understand. I've spent a lifetime understanding the algorithm that's used to compute our score, and in that, it's constantly evolving. But there are so many different buckets that contribute to score, and if you upset one bucket, then you could really mess up your score. So credit repair is not for the faint of heart. And if they say they're doing their own credit repair, you better, I wouldn't say run away, but you better understand what they think credit repair is. Tony, people think that paying off whole collections and charge-offs is credit repair. It is not.
Oh my gosh.
It lowers our score. It doesn't raise our score. So have them talk with us for the free analysis, especially if they're doing it themselves. When people are with another credit repair company, Lexington Law, for example, I convert them well over 95% of the time, because they're fed up with another company doing things really slowly. So if they're with another company, those are really my easiest conversions and the easiest people to do business with, because they don't know what they don't know until someone points it out to them. I simply go online with them and I say, here, look, this is what they've disputed to date. You've been with them for how long now? 1.5 years, and they've disputed 6 items? Come on now, So it's really easy when you can point out the deficiencies of other companies.
Yeah, that's very true. So you have something to compare it with, compare apples to apples, and they can definitely see the benefit of how what you're able to offer is superior to the cookie cutter approach that other big name companies might have, such as the Lexington Law. Okay. So now, Paul, some people say that credit repair, it sounds expensive, and so how much should folks anticipate? What can they see paying for this service, and then what would be the benefits what can they receive from paying? Okay. So you see what I'm saying with this? How much should folks anticipate paying for this service, and then what are the benefits going to be from paying it?
When people bring up price, and if they start coughing and gagging on the price, I always say to them, hey, you know what? Think of this as an investment in yourself, and the money that you're investing, $120 per month for, again, no more than 9 months, and you may leave my service at any point in time without penalty. This is the best investment you can make in yourself and in your future, because think of it this way: the cornerstone of your purchasing power is your credit report, and the cornerstone of your credit report is your score, and that's what this is at the heart of, strikes at the heart of. So I can't think of a better investment that you could make in yourself and in your future than improving your purchasing power, and that's what this is all about.
Nice. Because I mean, when you consider the benefits of having a good credit, I mean, you're easily able to buy most anything that you want and pay the least for it. You're able to get better insurance rates, better, all kinds of things. We already know about the many benefits of this. So I like how you say that's an investment in yourself. That certainly is very true. Very true. Okay. So let's see. Once again, where should we go to get this process started?
So if they haven't moved in your house yet, www.screenthetenant.com, or if they're already in there, mycreditteam.com. The phone numbers, 412-242-2733 is the primary number to reach out to us for either of those things. And we're looking forward to working with them and helping you and your tenant buyers accomplish your goals as far as the rent to own or any other type of transaction. Okay.
Very good. I think that you're going to have a lot of people blowing up your phone and exploding your web traffic based on the information we have that you've already shared here. So a couple more questions, if you don't mind. Do you have any tips on how we can possibly incentivize someone who wants and needs credit repair but maybe can't afford the monthly payments for now? Do you have any, like if we put someone in one of our houses, how could we possibly help justify that cost or incentivize them, or what tips do you have there?
Most people I do business with, Tony, and one of the questions that goes out whenever we send out a questionnaire as how we're going to handle this transaction is, will you require your tenant buyer to enroll in credit repair if his score is under the acceptable threshold for underwriting guidelines? And I would say the answer to that question about 75% of the time is yes, they will be requiring it. So I would encourage that be the case, to require it. Many people, Jay Connor, for example, he advertises for his houses, free credit repair with the house. So in other words, you get the house, you get free credit repair.
Yeah.
And what he does is he simply just raises his amount of down payment that he's going to need, non-refundable option deposit, and then he takes it out of that and he pays for it all up front so they can't slip out on the deal or slip out on the credit repair, 2 months into it. So there's many different ways to skin that cat, but if people want to get to that second closing table and they see value in putting their name on the title, then they somehow come up with $120 a month. It's a nominal amount to pay for the service that you get.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. There's some great strategy tips there. I like that. Okay, so let me just ask you a couple more things here, if you don't mind. And I really appreciate you graciously taking the time to answer these questions. So as far as working with people who have some credit issues, let me ask you, how do you typically handle collection accounts? Do you do like settlements, disputes? How do you like to handle those? If someone has an issue where they haven't paid in a while and their account has gone into collections, like credit cards, medical bills, all kinds of typical things. What do you do with those?
All right, so if you can get to it before it goes to collection, especially a medical bill, please pay it before it gets to collection, because once it gets to collection, a lot of nasty things happen. So collection accounts. What we're going to do with collection accounts is we're going to dispute these items and shift the burden of proof from you having to disprove them to the credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian having to prove they're accurate, timely, and verifiable. If it fails any of those tests, then it has to be removed from the credit profile. What I said there, what I didn't say there is we didn't say that we're going to settle these debts and we're not going to pay them off. That's not part of our equation. Our golden rule is this: whatever you've been paying on up to this point in time, please continue doing it. Student loans, credit cards, car payments, I want you to continue paying on those things. If it's an old collection account from years ago, if you were to pay it, you'd actually make it harder for us to have it removed. Here's why this happens. When you pay it, payment is an admission of guilt. It updates the date of last activity. When it does that, FICO comes along and says, hey, I got a collection account that was years old, and now it's an active collection account because it has been paid on. FICO looks at what happens most recently in our lives, Tony, and puts most emphasis or weight on it. And when doing that, the collection account from years ago, now being made current by payment, effectively sheds a real bright light on it, where in the alternative is if you had left it alone, it's just a very dim light. So FICO was although it was considering it, it's kind of considering it in the background. Now it's got a spotlight on it. And that's why people's scores go down when they pay off old collections and charge-offs. So if that's what they're thinking that credit repair is, and they're paying off their collections and charge-offs, and they come to you and say, oh, I'm handling it, again, that's a red flag that you would want to send them to us and say, hey, listen, at least talk to my professional. I'm going to set up a free analysis for you. May I have him call you? If so, what time, what phone number? And that's how that transition occurs. But don't think that paying off a collection is going to have the effect that you think it may have. Don't think it's going to raise the score, because most of the time, the vast majority of the time, it's going to lower it. The only time it would not lower it, in other words, it would just leave it the same, is if that collection was already current. Now, paying it, in other words, for example, it's a new medical bill. It just popped up on my credit report last month. That one might be worth paying because it's already current. Paying it does not update the date of last activity because it's current.
Okay. That answers some good things there. Thank you. Let's see. Now, do you have any credit building tips, like for people who are maybe just starting out, for example, teenagers, people in the young 20s, or maybe people who are rebuilding after like a bankruptcy or something like that? Do you have any tips for someone in either of those situations?
There's two types of building credit. There's building credit for those which basically, we'll call them a ghost. They have nothing on the credit report. They just fell off the turnip truck. They just entered the country. I don't know. They're 18. They just gotten into the field. There's nothing on the credit report. Those people need to get a secured credit card. That's the best place to start. Go to mycreditteam.com, click on credit building. There's a list of 8 or 9 of them there, and take your pick. And the choices are really dependent upon how much you want to pay for an application fee, what your monthly fee is going to be, or a yearly fee, and that type of stuff. But either way, you're going to probably have to put up like $200 or $300 in order to get a card like that. And then there are all the other ones, going back to the New Coast Direct. That was probably the best way of building it there. But it transcends itself even further than just those tips, because FICO likes to see responsibility in more than one arena.
Right.
Installment loan is different than revolving. Revolving debt is like a credit card where I get a limit and then I can charge up to that limit as I make my payments. My balance goes down, and therefore now I can charge even more. Installment debt, student loan, car loan, furniture loan, I get the thing and then I get a coupon book and I make payments on it. No matter how much I pay, if I overpay my debt, I'm simply decreasing the terms or the amount of time that I pay on that debt. These are different levels of responsibility. If I overpay on an installment loan, I don't get any more money either. I already have the car. I don't get another car. So FICO wants to see responsibility in each of these areas. So we understand all that. We have ways of getting installments, and the proper mix of credit is what that's called.
Right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. And last main question I have for you is, and that last answer kind of actually did answer it a little bit. But I was just going to wonder if you have any credit tip hacks, any special tips that you could share with us today, some goods, some extra special goods.
You know what? The best hack I could give you would be get a Credit Karma and freecreditreport.com account. And here's why. Because, hey, they're free. That's nice. B, although don't put a lot of stock in the score for Credit Karma because it's based upon something called a Vantage score, which is not a FICO score. Don't put a lot of stock in the score, but the data is accurate. The fact that whatever is reporting on there is accurate. Have these accounts. Use them as a tool. And the reason why I'm asking that they get both freecreditreport.com and Credit Karma is because Credit Karma gives us TransUnion and Equifax, freecreditreport.com gives us Experian. That way we have all three of them. Although Annual Credit Report will do the same, also for free, it doesn't do it on a membership basis. In other words, I can't go and log on next month after I've already gotten my report. With Credit Karma and freecreditreport.com, I can. And also, those are the tools that if they wanted to have us do a free analysis, those are what we would ask them to provide us anyhow. So that would be my best, one of the best credit hacks. There's probably another dozen of them, but in the interest of time, let's just narrow it down to that one. That's the premier one, because it also will notify you if there's a vast change in your score. For example, you had a new late pop-up or a new collection or charge-off, things like that. So it has a little pieces of credit monitoring. They do try to sell you stuff, and you don't need to buy any of their monitoring or anything else. The report itself is pretty straightforward, so I would definitely make certain that I have one of those active all the time.
Excellent. Thank you for that great tip there. If someone doesn't already have that, they should definitely go out and do that right now. CreditSesame.com or Credit Karma with a K, Karma.com.
Let me correct you on that. Credit Sesame is a different site. It's not as good. It's although it is a membership-based site, it doesn't give you the detail that freecreditreport.com gives you.
Okay.
You'd said Credit Sesame. I think what you meant to say was freecreditreport.com.
Yes.
Which essentially is Experian. But don't go to Experian because Experian charges you for the same report you'll get from freecreditreport.com. Again, membership-based site. So you'll set up your logon ID and password within each of those, Credit Karma and freecreditreport.com. And I don't get a dime from them for saying any of this stuff. It's not like that. It's just that this is a great tool.
Okay. So freecreditreport.com and creditkarma.com. Those are the ones you recommend. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. So in wrapping this up, one more time, if people want to get a hold of you, Paul, what is the number they need to call? To call Paul, dial this number.
This is for your audience only, 724-664-6078. That's a direct line to me. If I don't pick up, please leave a message. I do answer my phone voice messages, usually within a day. If you want to call for the business reasons, area code 412-242-2733.
Excellent. And when you call, please mention that you heard about Paul from this video or podcast, however you may be viewing this, with Tony Pearl. And Paul will take extra special care of you. I don't get a dime out of this, by the way, just in case you may be wondering. This is merely out of goodwill and paying things forward to help out our fellow investors and to help out our fellow humans to do better and have a better life with better credit.
And so, folks, if you're thinking of who should be my mentor with my real estate investment business, you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody better than Tony. Tony takes his time. I've known Tony for quite some time. Tony takes his time with people, and he's welcomed me onto his program today so graciously. And he has vast resources in terms of his knowledge in the industry and his go-tos, and then getting information out to you, clear and concise in his explanations. The type of person that if you're considering a mentor, definitely consider working with Tony. And Tony, I'm so glad that you had me on today. I can't say enough good things about you, and I'm looking forward to helping you and anybody that listens to this video.
Wow, you're such a gentleman, Paul. Thank you. I truly appreciate your kind words. Very nice of you to say that. It means a lot to me, coming from you, my friend. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So that about does it, my friend. Thank you so much. If you're still awake and paying attention, congratulations. You have got some great knowledge and information dropped on you, boom, just like that, with our fantastic interview today with the legendary credit myth himself, Mr. Paul Ritter of mycreditteam.com and screenthetenant.com. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. And my name is Tony Pearl. We look forward to helping you with your future endeavors and your real estate investing needs, as well as your credit in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will be talking to you soon. Take care.